We still have the poor air quality, and now we're dealing with very dense fog as well. We'll take a look at the forecast and tell you when it's all going to break.
People here at the Chris Kindle Holiday Market don't want to let the bad air quality discourage them from going out. Here's what some of them have to say.
And we'll show you how one group of construction engineering students in the Alpine School District is making a difference in their community in a way that is positively Utah.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Robin O'Guinye filling in for Bob Evans. Our big story tonight is the inversion in the air as we head into the weekend. We felt the bad air quality all week long. Here's a look at a time lapse of our Oquirrh Mountain camera as well as our Natural History Museum camera. That haze has really built up, making for dangerous driving conditions. Now, here's a live look at one of UDOT's cameras pointed at the northbound lanes of Legacy Parkway at 1900 South and Woods Cross. You can't see anything. Obviously, there's someone driving there. You can see their lights, but man, it just looks downright bad out there. We have team coverage for you tonight. Fox 13 News reporter Maithili Gooby is checking in with people about how they're coping with the inversion. But we start with Utah's Weather Authority, Dina Friedman, with a check on that weekend forecast. Dina, not looking good out there.
No, unfortunately, and the dense fog is just getting thicker as the night goes on. It's really treacherous out there. I-80 over by the airport, it's really bad. It's close here to the TV station. We could tell you the roads are just not in good shape. Oquirrh Mountain camera looking down at the valley. You can see very thick layer of fog. We do have that dense fog advisory, and now that goes until tomorrow morning. So the visibility is even less than 1/8 of a mile in some locations. Really ridiculous out there. So we've got very thick fog, especially close to the Great Salt Lake and along I-80, but that fog bank does extend into the downtown area as well. So all along the freeways and just surface streets, it looks spooky out there, and it's gross because it's not just fog and particulate with water droplets, it's mixed in with pollution too. So just this nasty layer of gunk is with us, and it's really thick tonight. Our air quality is in the unhealthy range, and it's going to stay that way. It will start to get better on Sunday. That's when we kick up the wind and the cold front comes through. So that we have one more day of this really yucky stuff around here. And with the cold fog and everything, it's just keeping us really chilly as well. Today's high temperature only got up to 38. 28 degrees is where we are right now, and temperatures staying in the 20s overnight. We'll continue with the fog and pollution haze, but the storm coming in on Sunday should help to make things a little bit better. We're in the 20s now here in Salt Lake City, but warmer in southern Utah, 49 degrees there in St. George. So overnight, temperatures staying around in the 20s tonight with that fog and haze. So coming up, we'll talk about the outlook for the weekend and those improvements that we expect.
Dina, thank you. The fog put the Utah State Correctional Facility in Salt Lake City on a level 3 weather alert today because the guards weren't able to see the inmates if they went outside. There are 4 alert levels at the prison. Level 3 means the facility's yards, sidewalks, and common areas are not visible, while a level 4 means 0 visibility. We continue to see dangerous travel conditions as dense fog has settled in for many roads throughout northern Utah. The Utah Highway Patrol says they've responded to at least 90 crashes today. Sergeant Lawrence Hopper from the Utah Highway Patrol reminds us of what we need to be aware of while driving in the fog.
The problem that we're having is that people are not slowing down. They'll slow down when there's storms, which is great, but they now need to learn to slow down when there's fog. Another thing that people don't understand is when there's fog, it may not look like it, but the bridges are going to ice over, and they've got to take it slow on the bridges as well. And we had a big problem with that, where people coming over the bridge would lose control. While we were on scene of one of those crashes, I saw 4 or 5 cars lose control, almost hit the concrete barrier. Luckily they didn't, but they were just going way too fast over those bridges.
Sergeant Hopper also wants to remind us that wearing your seatbelt is imperative at all times, especially when driving in low visibility conditions, as chances for crashes dramatically increase. Taking a live look near Salt Lake City International Airport, where FlightAware is showing 142 delays today. About 19% of flights out of the airport and 14% of flights into the airport have been delayed, according to the website. Here's a look at what that camera usually looks like on a clear night. You can see there's a big difference there. Now, we've reached out to the airport to see if this is related to the fog and inversion. Well, the fog and inversion isn't keeping everyone indoors. Fox 13 News reporter Mythili Gooby caught up with people shopping at an annual Christmas market at This Is the Place Heritage Park in Salt Lake.
'Tis the season for holiday cheer. And if you're in Utah, that means inversion season too.
It has been really bad. I work out by the airport, and so driving home all the time, it's just so bad.
The Allen family lives in Kearns.
From our backyard, we can see the whole Eastern Valley, and we can't even see a couple miles away from us, where normally it's, the mountains, the whole Wasatch Front is crystal clear.
This is Abby's first winter in Utah.
It is a little bit surprising. I remember being so excited to move here and see the mountains, and sometimes they're covered.
So people are escaping the inversion and fog and are taking in the holiday spirit at the Chris Kindle Market holiday event at This Is the Place Heritage Park.
These markets are a great opportunity to just learn about different cultures and have new experiences, and it just brings so many people together.
Letting the lights shine brighter than the haze.
You forget about it because of all the wonderful things that you can do here and be able to see and all that.
And hoping the haze in the sky is a reminder of things we can do to help clean the air.
If you can carpool with people, carpool. If you can walk or take a bus, do your part.
People here at the Chris Kindle Market tell me they don't want to let the bad air quality discourage them from going out and are looking forward to embracing the holiday spirit for the rest of the season. In Salt Lake City, I am Mythili Gooby, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Now to other local news, we're learning about an ice rescue in Cache County tonight. Sheriff's deputies say they got a call of a reported drowning near the ponds behind the Presto plant in Lewiston. Investigators say a man fell through the ice while he was trying to rescue his dog. His kids called 911 for help. A deputy with a life vest and a hatchet was able to break through the ice water and rescue the man. Both the man rescued and the deputy had to be evaluated for being in such cold temperatures for an extended period of time. The sheriff's office says the dog is okay. Davis County Animal Care is proposing to increase property taxes by 57%. That comes out to about $13 for a $578,000 home and about $23 for businesses annually. Animal Care says it will fund 6 new staff members, among other resources. In a public meeting this week, supporters said it was well worth it, but others argued they don't benefit from the services, so they shouldn't have to pay for them.
Raising taxes less than $15 a year is a bargain.
There's no public need, pardon me for all you pet lovers out there that have them, but there's no public need for this.
Davis County commissioners are set to vote on the proposal at the next meeting on Tuesday. The Department of Alcoholic Beverage Services is issuing an emergency order to suspend alcohol service at Sugar House Pub. That's the bar where 186 minors were cited for underage drinking last month. DABS called it alarming and says safety measures to prevent underage drinking and impaired driving need to be established before the bar's service suspension would be lifted. They hope to have an update on the disciplinary process by the end of next week. A disturbing story. Vernal police have arrested a woman accused of drugging her husband's drinks. Police were first alerted to the case on Monday after the victim was already in the ICU for several days. A witness told one officer the victim's wife, 58-year-old Carrie Kelsey, admitted she crushed up trazodone, a drug used to treat depression, and put it in the victim's Jägermeister. Kelsey is now facing felony charges of superstitious administering of certain substances. An employee at a local Montessori school is behind bars on rape charges, accused of having sexual relations with multiple teenagers. Court documents say 44-year-old Jessica Tiptow was known to go to parties at a home in South Jordan where she provided alcohol and illegal substances to teenagers before having sex with some of them. The Dancing Moose Montessori School confirmed to Fox 13 that Tiptow was a child success specialist at their Lehigh campus, adding that none of the victims were former students and that Tiptow was immediately placed on leave. She's being held in the Salt Lake County Jail without bail. A Price man accused of trying to run over several children with his truck is now facing multiple attempted murder charges. 57-year-old David Earl Holden was arrested Thursday after surveillance video from Dino Mine Adventure Park appeared to show him attempting to run over kids in the parking lot. A witness told police Holden drove over curbs and onto the grass, and the kids had to jump out of the way. Another witness said Holden showed a knife to the children. Police responded to a call from a man who said Holden threatened him with a knife at a local McDonald's. Holden also threatened to kill the officer who took him to jail. Tomorrow is National Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day and marks 83 years since Japanese forces attacked a U.S. Navy base at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii, launching the United States into World War II. The attack killed more than 2,400 Americans and injured nearly 1,200 others. President Franklin Roosevelt famously called the date of the attack a date which will live in infamy. Utah Governor Spencer Cox has ordered all state facilities to fly Utah state flags and American flags at half-staff tomorrow. Well, a construction engineering class in the Alpine School District is putting their skills to good use. Fox 13 News photojournalist Manuel Rodriguez shows us how they're giving back to the community.
Right now we're just building the bottom and top plate for this next wall that we're doing. I really enjoy it. It's a lot better than like sitting in the classroom. I've really enjoyed the framing part, like putting the exterior walls up and sheeting those. It's probably been my favorite. We'll probably end up just doing both, but we just do 16s on one side. We took pictures from like before and after and stuff, and seeing it like be a big hole to like actually looking like a house is like insane.
We call it construction engineering, so we will do concrete, framing, electrical, plumbing, HVAC, you name it, the students will do it here.
You cut this one and you can cut the top plate.
It's basically the idea of being able to conceptually look at something, figure out how you want it to look, and then break it down step by step to create that product.
Does that mean we need to start a stud right here?
All right, this one's good. Now when I go home, I like see everything in like a different way, and like instead of just like a cabinet or like a door, like I see all this, like the bare construction of it, and it's just been interesting.
They do it just like they're going to be on a job site. So I want to make sure when they leave this class that they start like on level 3 of a ladder, not at the beginning. They shouldn't be sweeping floors. They should be going in there knowing how to do layout if they're doing framing.
I thought Brett said 2 feet on the center.
And for them to drive by and say, I built this house, I'll get a text from them. Just drove by the house, they finished the landscaping. But yeah, they have a lot of pride in it.
Probably beginning of October. I had symptoms for about 4 days, and then I submitted myself into the ER. And then after I submitted myself, it was around October 4th, and then, you know, kind of collapsed. I've been out since October, trying to get back at the beginning of the year.
We had a lady that we knew from Timpanogos, and she had a son that really had come down with the syndrome that was going to be wheelchair bound. And when she called us up, we were looking for a Sub for Santa project to do with the home builders, and she mentioned that she could use a ramp and that her son was wheelchair bound, and we were so excited to be able to do that for her.
It was a little stressful getting him prepared, or getting the house prepared, and me making sure that it was ready for him to come home to.
So as soon as I got on it, there's no creaks or sounds. It doesn't move. You know, it's definitely sturdy.
It's you go, bro.
I had great relationships going through Utah Valley and stuff like that, and I plan to, you know, keep going back and, you know, giving hope to other people and, you know, lift their spirits up.
Just the service aspect of it, honestly. I think also building a ramp, like trying something new, but helping like somebody make their house more accessible to somebody else. I don't know, that's the reason I did it.
I just want to tell you and your students how much of a blessing you were to come help me and Jared get this ramp put into my house. And I will forever hold you in my heart. Thank you so very much. You guys are angels.
I'd just like to say thank you. It's a big help and a big blessing for everyone. And I hope they go off and enjoy life, you know, and have great success wherever they go.
Oh, well, they are angels indeed, and all the best of luck to you, Jared. Very nice. Well, we've got a lot more ahead coming up on Fox 13 News at 9. Coming up, with less than 50 days left to a second Trump White House, we take a look at where the Trump transition stands now. And the manhunt continues beyond the Big Apple for the suspect in the murder of United Healthcare CEO. What police are revealing tonight. New York law enforcement officials are making headway in the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson earlier this week. Investigators have also revealed that they believe the suspect has fled New York City. Police already know the suspected gunman traveled to New York on a Greyhound bus days before the attack. They also have photos of his face as he smiled at a clerk in the hostel where he was staying. Detectives tracked his movements after Wednesday's fatal shooting.
Eventually, we have him on 86th Street and Columbus Avenue walking. He loses the bike. And then from there, we have him in a taxi cab, and the taxi cab takes him up to 178th Street and Broadway, which, as we know, is a Port Authority bus center. Those buses are interstate buses. That's why we believe he may have left New York City.
Today, investigators also revealed they found a backpack in New York City Central Park that's believed to belong to the suspect. That backpack, as well as a burner phone and a water bottle that the suspect also dropped, could possibly provide DNA evidence. We're less than 50 days out from President-elect Trump being sworn into the White House once again. And tonight, we're getting an update on who will be part of the new cabinet. Scripps News correspondent Serena Marshall reports.
President-elect Donald Trump continues to firm up his administration with a slate of new nominations announced late Thursday. It comes as another one of his picks may be in need of a little muscle from the bully pulpit. President-elect Trump tapped former Georgia Senator David Perdue to be the U.S. ambassador to China. Perdue was CEO of Dollar General and a top executive at Sara Lee and Reebok. He's overseen significant corporate restructuring and lived in Singapore and Hong Kong. He's also named the two officials that would help carry out his planned immigration crackdown. Rodney Scott, his former Customs and Border Patrol chief, to head up the agency once again, and Caleb Vitello as acting director of Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. The agency hasn't had a Senate-confirmed director since 2017. Trump is also creating a new position, an AI and crypto czar. That won't require Senate confirmation, and it's for PayPal co-founder David O. Sachs. Sachs previously worked with Elon Musk at PayPal. Meanwhile, Trump's pick to lead the Department of Defense, Peter Hegseth, is vowing to fight on despite growing concerns from lawmakers over allegations of misogyny, alcohol abuse, and sexual misconduct, which he has denied. On Thursday, Hegseth vowed to continue his fight to be confirmed.
So we're going to earn those votes. We're fighting all the way through the tape. We're grateful to have the president's support because his vision for this Department of Defense is to bring it back to its core capacity.
The president-elect now propping up the former Fox News host in a social media post Friday, saying his support is strong and deep. He will be a fantastic, high-energy Secretary of Defense, one who leads with charisma and skill. Pete is a winner, and there is nothing that can be done to change that. One major roadblock for Hegseth is Republican lawmakers like Senator Joni Ernst. She's a former combat veteran and herself a survivor of sexual assault. She said on Thursday she hadn't gotten to a yes yet on Hegseth, but a lifeline from the president-elect could perhaps sway some holdouts. But it also comes amid reports his transition team is also looking at alternatives. Serena Marshall, Scripps News, Washington.
Dina, I don't think we can say enough just how bad it actually is out there. I went to grab dinner and could barely see anything.
Yeah, this is the worst visibility. I've been in Salt Lake for more 20 years, roughly, and I've never seen dense fog like this. I mean, it's pretty unprecedented. So here's what we're looking at for earlier today. This is looking down and down at the valley, and this is what we're all breathing in. It's a sad state of affairs. Now, if you want to get above that, you can go up high. Nice view from Deer Valley today, where we had some pretty conditions, and the inversion is not quite at that level. So looking again down live now, we've got that foggy layer, and that's prompted the National Weather Service to issue that dense fog advisory. And like Robin was just saying, the roads are really hazardous out there. We have incredibly thick fog over here by the airport along I-80 and anywhere really close to the lake, and that actually is getting all the way into the downtown area as well. So that dense fog advisory goes until 11 a.m. If you do have to go out, you just need to be really careful and go really slow. The fog is just not good. And like we were hearing some of the officers saying earlier here on the news, the bridges can freeze over really quickly too. So people just need to take note, and it's hazardous out there. Air view showing us we've got the orange air quality mostly in the locations. It's just unhealthy. The air quality is poor, as we know. Temperature cold as well, with foggy conditions being reported here at the Salt Lake City International Airport. Temperature about 27 27 degrees. Humidity, 96%. We just don't get moisture like this where we get this condensation build on the fog and the particulates. It's just really unusual to see these thick fog banks like this. 24 degrees our overnight low in the forecast tonight, so clear skies above that foggy layer. 27 here in Salt Lake City right now and 26 in Provo, so pretty chilly all around. Now, southern Utah, you've got some great air quality and beautiful conditions this weekend, so just want to remind people to get out and about, and wherever you are in the state, there's definitely nice places to enjoy as well. Today's high temperature, with all of the thickening of the inversion and the fog bank, the high temp only got up to 38 degrees. Wow, definitely below average and much cooler than anticipated as well, because that cloud deck just got pretty thick with the fog built into it. We should say the fog deck. So we have clear skies all around us, but we have the fog here in town. Now, here's some promising news. Look at this. Ooh, so there's definitely a system coming in. It'll be here on Sunday morning, so it's going to take another about 36 hours to transition into our great state. And when it does so, we will have improvements in the weather. We still have high pressure for tomorrow, and then we open the door to get that trough in here Sunday and Monday. Wish it had a little more moisture with it, but it does have the wind shift and the wind, and that should help to clean out the air. There's the wind forecast. Look at that. It gets bright. Did you see that? It gets bright in the orange and the pink, and that's late Sunday night into Monday, so that should help to clean things out. That's what we need to clean out the valley. 24 degrees tonight with the fog and the haze out there. Chilly. 18 in Delta tonight and 34 degrees in St. George, a cold night. Now tomorrow we should hit about 40 again in Salt Lake. Same thing. You're gonna have that morning fog and then the afternoon gross haziness around. Now other places should have better air, like in Park City, 44 degrees, 61 in St. George. So depending on where you live, it could be a really nice day actually, or it could be kind of a gray day. 61 tomorrow in southern Utah, staying around 60 for most of the weekend. It cools off for you on Monday with the passage of the cold front. Fog and haze tomorrow, breezy Sunday, and a chance for a few small flurries with that cold front on Monday. But the big news is the air will be improving in just a couple of days. We'll be right back.
The city of St. George put up the last of the bones of its new $45 million city hall today. With autographs from city staff and the construction workers on site, the traditional last beam was raised on the building that will be more than twice the size of the city's current HQ.
You know, when they first laid the foundation, you're like, is this really that big or not? And then now that you see it going up, you're like, this is a really big building.
The new city hall across from Town Square in the St. George Tabernacle will replace the one built 3 blocks to the north in 1980 when the city had 10% of the population it does now. It's on schedule to open next October. Tonight was the first night of the 6th annual Craft Lake City Holiday Market at Union Station in Ogden. More than 140 Utah-based crafters and businesses are featured at the 2-day event that runs through tomorrow at 4. We caught up with one of those talented crafters.
It's actually really fun because it's cool because I feel like you get to meet a lot of creative people that like do similar things, and a lot of them still have full-time jobs, or some of them do like this for their full-time jobs.
Craft Lake City is a nonprofit that was founded in 2009 with the mission to educate, promote, and inspire local artisans while elevating the creative culture of the Utah arts community. Coming up, school security is front and center for parents and teachers in the Salt Lake City School District. We'll take you to a rally outside West High School. Plus, how a family in southern Utah is picking up the pieces this holiday season after they lost their home in a fire this week. And what 7 states, the government of Mexico, numerous tribes, and other stakeholders want to see in negotiations over the Colorado River. Teachers in the Salt Lake Valley are expressing concern as they participate in a rally a month after a West High School student was shot in the parking lot and a day after an unfounded report of an active shooter at East High. Fox 13 News reporter Mark Blaine was there for today's demonstration.
More than 20 teachers gathered in front of the school before classes Friday, as well as after school. Their message, we protect us because no one else will. They say they've been concerned with security for some time.
We have just issues of fights that happen at school, and there are other incidents of violence that happened last year and then earlier this year.
Reynolds says the news of a student being shot in the parking lot in early November is what triggered the teachers to voice their concerns.
We need more people. Right now we have a huge campus and we just don't have enough manpower to take care of the whole area of the school.
But they don't feel they're being heard by the district.
I guess the short answer is no. We don't feel like the concerns are being addressed, and that's why we're speaking out today.
The district sent us a statement this afternoon saying, we agree with our teachers. All students and staff should be safe at school. We will continue our ongoing efforts to keep all our schools safe. We know the West High School administration is doing its part, working to develop consistent and clear protocols and processes to increase safety. From Salt Lake City, Mark Blaine, Fox 13 News, Utah.
A family of 9 in the rural Washington County town of Enterprise saw their home and their Christmas go up in flames Thursday morning. Now the family's matriarch is speaking out about what's really important for her this holiday season. Fox 13 News reporter Chris Reed talked with her.
It's Christmas time and Kia Tesh had bought all her presents for her 6 kids in a family of 9, stashed all those presents away, and was already ready for the holiday. But then Thursday morning this happened. Their home was gutted in a massive blaze that has dimmed their holiday light.
When I hit my pillow or when I'm alone with my fiance, I can cry and let out the anger and the sadness and the hurt and the devastation and just every emotion I'm feeling. But when I'm around my kids, I try to be strong and let them know it's just material items, and the most important thing is we made it out, we're safe and healthy, and we get to be a family.
Kia lived in a home with her mother, fiance Jordan, and their children, ages 16, 10, 9, 4, 3, and 2. While the fire is still under investigation, Kia said it started around an outlet where she had a Keurig plugged in.
I went down to our local grocery store to go pick up some donuts, came back 5 minutes later. I have neighbors, rushing my kids to next door, grabbing my animals, telling me the front of the house is on fire, get us out, get the fire department here.
By Friday morning, the house was boarded up. Outside, there was still the smell of smoke with frost on the porch, mixing with black ash. Inside, it was much worse. And Tesh says of all the children, it is especially hard on a 3-year-old.
She's autistic, nonverbal. She suffers from periodic seizures, things like that. So this is a huge hit for her, I believe, more than the others, because she needs the stability, the consistency, and this has been her home since we brought her home from the hospital, and now it's just gone. And
people who know them here tell me that Kia and her family are the most giving people they know, and they're hoping now that the community rallies around to give back to them. But Kia says she and her family, staying temporarily at her mother-in-law's apartment, are just in need of basic necessities. They say they already have a Christmas gift, their family's survival.
It was just a house, it was just stuff. Home is where my family is. Because of Christmas, we always want the newest iPhone or the newest computer or the newest PlayStation or things like that. And this was very humbling for us to realize that family is what matter, and we have that.
From Enterprise, Chris Reed, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Well, best of luck to Kia and her family. Well, as the 7 states along the Colorado River negotiate in Las Vegas about who gets what out of the water that supplies life to 40 million people, there's other stakeholders involved. Fox 13 News reporter Ben Winslow shows us what they want to see.
We too should be a part of the reservoirs.
Tribal leaders spoke on Friday at the Colorado River Water Users Association. They now have a seat at the table in negotiations. For the president of the Navajo Nation, he wants a deal in Congress governing tribal water needs immediately, and another deal among the 7 states along the Colorado River.
Thousands of Navajo people still woke up today
They had to go bring in some water, heat up some water on the stove, and they had to be very conservative. So if our friends and our relatives in the 7 basins can come together, have consensus, we can alleviate those basic necessities of having them be in third world countries.
Mexico is part of the basin.
The government of Mexico is also involved.
We want to see clear rules. We need to see certainty. We need to see that in the agreements. We need to see parity, and we need to see equity.
Environmental groups also want some things too.
Something that can respond to climate change, something that can get ahead of shortages, something that really helps stabilize the system.
While they're supposed to be hammering out a new deal governing use of the Colorado River,
the rhetoric, the saber rattling, and other distractions going on right now are bullshit.
backroom fights over who cuts what spilled out into public.
Our belief is that everyone should cut back. We all rely upon this river, and everyone needs to contribute as part of the solution. The Upper Basin State's point of view at this point has been all the reductions need to take place where most of the people and most of the food is grown, while they continue to increase their uses. So that's sort of the impasse we're at this time.
But state negotiators are still hopeful.
Door has been open, phone lines ring both ways. We're here for it.
I haven't ever witnessed anything on the Colorado River that didn't get pushed to the 11th hour.
Utah's river commissioner is suggesting maybe a short-term deal to buy some more time.
I think we have to keep talking, and whether it's a 20-year deal or a 30-year deal, we still have to talk.
There's a history of fighting in this basin. The states have disagreed before, but they need to come together, and they need to come together now.
With the upper and lower basin states leaving Las Vegas without sitting down at the bargaining table, negotiations will have to resume in the coming months. They're on a deadline. The agreements governing the Colorado River expire in August of 2026. In Las Vegas, Ben Winslow, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Well, the poor air quality today did not help us much in the temperature department. Our high only got up to 38 degrees after a low of 23 this morning. Our normal high is around 41 degrees. Should be pretty similar tomorrow, but there is some light at the end of the tunnel, and the air is going to get better. We'll have a complete look at the forecast coming up.
I'm Andrea Urban, and Utah State football has named its new head coach, and the Utahns know him far too well who it is in sports. And the Utah Jazz are back at it tonight on the road in Portland. Can they get back in the win column against a team who's at the bottom of the West? You'll see the rest. That's in sports.
All right, folks, we continue to track our big story this evening, the fog and the inversion. We're taking a live look at the northbound lanes of West Davis Highway at 1950 South in Syracuse, where you can see it is pretty bad. We've been saying it all this week, but it just seems like it's gotten worse, Dina. But yeah. I hear that there's something on the way that could help clear some of it up.
Yeah, there definitely is a system coming in on Sunday, but all of this fog, it's really weird for Utah to have that much moisture in the air in such a dry place. So we normally don't have fog-like conditions. So what's the deal? So we've got this cold air that's sitting here at the ground, and that's been here now for several days, where we've got the cold conditions, but then we're adding in all the particulate matter. So we've got that colored here, just kind of in this green and these ugly black snowflakes. So that's just representing all the particles that are in the air. And then what happens, the sun goes down and the air starts to cool off even more. And that air, remember, when it cools, it goes down to what's called its dew point. That's the temperature that we need to condense the air. Remember, water vapor is all around us all the time, so it can cool off and condense if you bring the temperature down, and then boom, you have all of this nuclei material for everything to just condense on. So you have these huge fog banks, and that's what we've been having. We had fog this morning even at Bear Lake. And that made it for a pretty picture, and nobody has to drive on the lake, but we got to drive on the roads here, and it is hazardous. Look at that. Our dense fog advisory issued by the National Weather Service goes until 11 a.m., especially along I-80 by the airport and anywhere close to the lake. It's really hazardous out there, and that fog bank extends all the way into the city of Salt Lake as well, even reaching as far east as Parley's Canyon. So it is definitely foggy out there, and driving conditions are just not that great. 27 degrees, calm winds, so not a lot to really mix out the air. Poor air quality is in our forecast all through the weekend until Well, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it starts to improve because that cold front goes through. And next week, we do have some weaker systems moving through, and that should help to keep the air mixed a little bit. So we continue with the dense morning fog overnight and the inversion tomorrow, but the storm will move in on Sunday. Temperatures are in the 20s now. 17 in Bryce Canyon. And going forward with the satellite and radar tonight just shows that we do have a storm. Finally, something is brewing, and that's going to be here on Sunday. So futurecast with the high pressure around for tomorrow, but then that cold front goes through on Sunday into Monday, and that will help mix out the air. You can see the wind here with the oranges and magenta colors, and that should help to really churn and turn things over. So that's promising news. Overnight, 24 degrees here tonight with the fog and haze, and then tomorrow about the same. Our high temperature will be about 40 degrees here in Salt Lake City and 61 in southern Utah. You've got temperatures cooling down into the 50s in the early part of next week with that cold front, 40s, and then the air gets much better finally starting on Sunday.
The Utah Jazz are last in the Western Conference and are facing the 13th team in the West tonight, the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, this is kind of matchup where Utah could come away with the win, and I don't mean to sound discouraging. It's just with another new rotation tonight. Lowry out, Jordan Clarkson out. Head coach Will Hardy said Kyle Filipowski will be joining the team in Sacramento. But guess what? John Collins was 5 for 6 in the first half in transition, throwing down, and it gets better. 8 players in double figures, including Johnny Juzang with 20 off the bench. The catch and shoot 3 is good. Drew Eubanks, the Portland native, rattling the house for 2 of his 12 points. That's his parents, prouder than ever. John Collins is clutch in the paint and behind the arc. Cash, 20 points for JC. Jazz led by 23 at the half, their largest lead of the season. The bucket and 1 for Colin Sexton, who had 16. Jazz get their 5th win, 141-99 over Portland. Well, there's new life in Logan. Utah State football has found its guy, and it's a familiar face. The Utah State Aggies have named Bronco Mendenhall their 31st head coach in program history, signing a 6-year deal, bringing the Utahn back home. Mendenhall had a 10-year stint at the helm of the BYU football program dating back to 2005. The Alpine native returns to the Beehive State after serving as the head coach of the University of New Mexico, where in his lone season went 5-7. Mendenhall has 18 years of head coaching experience, a 140-88 career record, taking the University of Virginia to the Orange Bowl in 2019. Mendenhall will be replacing Nate Dreiling, who served as Utah State's interim head coach after Blake Anderson was fired over the summer. Mendenhall's 6-year deal brings stability to Logan that USU fans have been looking for. And Utah volleyball playing in the second round of the NCAA tournament, facing Marquette in the Huntsman. Golden Eagles up 2-0, but Utah comes back strong in the third. Lauren Jardine led the Utes with 17 kills. Set point, the overpass by Marquette, and Rianne Voss puts it away to keep Utah still in it. Utah fighting for the win, hosting a block party. Allie Olsen and Lauren Jardine with the double block. Set point, Utes lead 25-24. Another overpass by the Golden Eagles, and Camry Bailey kills it to take set 4. We're tied at 2 apiece, head into the final set, and they only played a 15. What a battle. Match point for the Golden Eagles as Marquette wins 3-2 and moves on to the Sweet 16. Oh my gosh, it hurts my heart because Utah was going for their 5th Sweet 16 in program history, and they were that close.
Next year.
Next year.
There's always
I'm there.
next year.
Want to go? No, I'm just kidding.
We'll see.
We'll go next year.
Well, finally tonight, Santa stopped by Intermountain Health Riverton Hospital a little early this year. It was all to gift newborns with their very own giant Christmas stockings. This will be the 15th year that newborn babies delivered at the hospital. I know, is there anything cuter than just like a baby inside something that's too big for it? Like there's just nothing cuter. Look at that.
Oh my gosh, what a beautiful Christmas present.
Yeah, this is a tradition I can get behind. Well, thank you so much for watching Fox 13 News at 9. We'll be back here for Good Day Utah at 6:30 tomorrow. Have a good night.